Hi, I'm Srinivas Reddy Palam, lecturer in computer engineering, Kulikudipsha Government Polytechnic. I'm going to handle the session on programming in C, which is in second semester of diploma in computer engineering. The subject code is 18CM2050. In today's this session, I will discuss the following topics, that is operators in brief in C programming, the precedence of operators and associativity of operators also I will discuss, and also the header files creation, and also I will discuss type conversion, that is typecasting, implicit typecasting and explicit typecasting, and also rules for the typecasting also I will discuss. So operators. C supports rich set of operators. An operator is a symbol that tells the compiler to perform certain mathematical or logical manipulations. So depending on the symbol, the compiler will understand which operation to be performed, whether it is a mathematical operation or a logical operation or any manipulation that is to be performed on the data will be known to the compiler by looking at the operator symbol. Operators are used in programs to manipulate data and variables. So you can see the set of operators, like these are the arithmetic operator symbols. We have plus, minus, multiplication and division, and also we have remainder operator, that is percentile symbol, and we have associativity operator, and also we have parenthesis operator, which is used mainly in the evaluation of expressions. So these are the operators. They are basically required to tell the compiler which operation to be performed based on its symbol. The operators can be unary operators, binary operators, and ternary operators, which we already have seen in the previous session of operators, and we'll just have a look at these operators in brief. So unary operators, they basically act upon one operand only, and binary operators, they act upon two operands, and only one operator symbol is used, but which will be acting upon two operands at a time. And ternary operators will have a special type of operator, which will have question mark and colon symbol, which is just a replacement for the conditional operators, and it is also a replacement for the simple if else. And these are the three types of operators. Now let's see the actual operators in C programming. Types of C operators. So the types of C operators are basically, there are eight types of operators in C programming. We have arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, assignment operators, increment and decrement operators, and also we have conditional operators, and we have bitwise operators and special operators. The arithmetic operators basically they act using they perform arithmetic calculations with the help of these operators. So in C programming, if you want to do any mathematical operations with the help of the arithmetic operators only, they can be done. We have arithmetic operators like addition symbol is plus, and subtraction, the symbol is minus, and we have multiplication operation, which for which we have operator, multiplication operator, that is asterisk, and also we have division operator, that is slash, and we have modulus operator, which is used for performing or finding the remainder of a two operands. We have these arithmetic operators, and we have already covered them. In this session we are covering only brief of them, so that the we can discuss about the precedence of operators and associative of operators, and also we can have the type conversion things, for which we need some knowledge regarding these operators. So for that purpose, I am brushing up all these operators topic. And we have the second type of operators, relational operators. So relational operators are basically used to express the relation among the operands. So for that purpose, we have relational operators. So they are basically used for comparison. Whenever we need to express the relation among two operands, we need these relational operators. So relational operators are like less than, greater than, and equal to, and also we have the combination less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and also we have not equal to. These are the relational operators. So these relational operators are basically used for expressing the relation among the operands which needs to be compared, whether they are equal or they less than, or they are one operand is greater than the other, or they are equal, or they are not equal. So all these relationships can be expressed by the help of these relational operators. And we have the third category of operators, that is logical operators. We have logical operators. The logical operators, they use the operands, and they can basically express the relation, whether the comparison, the relation among the operands is either true or false. So using the relational operators, if you want to express the relation, the relation is whether its value is true or false, whether the relation is true or false, we can express with the help of these logical operators. So the logical operators in turn, they use relational operators, and they can express the logic between the operands. So suppose if you have two relations and you want to combine these relations among the operators, and you can use the logical operators. Logical operators are like and, which is one of the logical operator, and we have or operator, which is used for expressing the relation among the relations. Also we have not. So these are the logical operators, and the logical operator and will become logical equivalent one are true only when both the relations which are being combined with the help of, which are being combined with the help of this and operator will be true. So both relations, relation 1 and relation 2 should be true. Then only the result of the AND operation will become true. Otherwise, in all other cases, it will become false. Also, we can have OR operator, which means the relation, if you have relations, among the relations, if one of the relation is true, then only the logical OR will become true. Otherwise, in all other cases, it will become false. And not is simply the negation of the logic. That is, if the logic value is true, then negation of that is not operation, not operation or negation operation is same. And the if the logic the relation which is expressed is true, then if you apply not operation or negation operation, then it will become false. So and we have NAND, NAR, exclusive are also the combination of these basic relational, basic logical operations, which are and not. With the combination of these and or not, we can develop few more logical operations, which are just like NAR, NAND, and exclusive OR. So these are the logical operators in C programming, and we have basically and are not only. We have to worry about and are not, because with the help of these basic operations only, we can develop a few more like an NAR, NAND, and exclusive OR operations. And we have to worry about them, the basic operations only. And we have assignment operators. With the help of the equal to symbol, we can write assignment operators, where assignment operation is basically used for if you have an expression and if you have an expression whose value is to be assigned or to be reusable for some other variable, then you can use the assignment operator symbol, which is equal to symbol. So assignment operator is used for assigning the value of an expression to some other variable or to some other expression. And the assignment operation can be used in combination with the arithmetic operations, so that it can be called as shorthand notation of assignment operation. We can have a plus equal to a, so which means a plus equal to a, that means a equal to a plus 1, a plus equal to 1 means a equal to a plus 1, shorthand notation of the addition. Likewise, we can have subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulo operations also can be expressed in shorthand notation of assignment operations. And the other category that we have is increment and decrement operations. We have increment and decrement operators, which is basically used for incrementing the where operand by some value and decrementing the operand by some value. So if you have a equal to a plus 1, the same can be written as a plus plus, and the incrementation can be done post or pre increment or post increment. And we have already discussed about pre increment and post increment in the earlier sessions. And we have decrement operators where decrement operation is minus minus. If you have a minus minus, that means a equal to a minus 1, and we can have minus minus a, that is also the same. And the result decrement operation, pre decrement and post decrement, we have already seen the values after these pre increment, post increment, and pre decrement and post increment operations. And we have conditional operators, which is basically used for expressing the conditions. So if you want to develop the if else, simple if else conditional statement, we can use the conditional operators. And the conditional operator symbol is question mark followed by colon. And we have already seen how to write these conditional operation statements, and also how to evaluate these conditional operators results also. And we have bitwise operators, where bitwise operators basically are similar to the logical operators, but in the case of logical operators, on the entire expressions, the logical value of the entire expressions are combined with the help of and or not. But whereas in the case of bitwise operations, the result is simply converted into bits form, and on individual bits of the individual operands, the bitwise operations will be applied. Bitwise or, bitwise and, bitwise exclusive or, bitwise not. All these are the operators that are available in C programming. And we have special operators. The special operators are like comma and semicolon and full stop. And these are the special operators which are used for separating the statements, and you can combine some of these statements also with the help of these special operators. So for we need to have just to overview of these operators, so that we can proceed with the um, precedence of the operators and also the associativity of operators. When we have to proceed with the precedence of operators and associative operators, also we will discuss in the coming slides. So precedence of operators. Coming to precedence of operators, precedence is basically used for establishing the hierarchy of one set of operators over another when an arithmetic expression has to be evaluated. So the precedence is used to establish the hierarchy of one set of operators over another when an arithmetic expression has to be evaluated. So in an arithmetic expression, you will have say so many number of operators, and if we want to establish the hierarchy of one set of operators over another, we need to use arithmetic expression. We need to use the precedence of operators in the arithmetic expressions when these expressions has to be evaluated. It refers to the order in which C evaluates operators. So it basically tells the order in which C evaluates operators. So suppose if you have in your expression you are having plus minus into division, then the precedence will tell in which order you have to evaluate. Either you have to evaluate plus first, or addition first, or subtraction first, or multiplication first, or division first. So this order will be decided by the precedence of operators. The evaluation of operators in an arithmetic expression takes place from left to right for operators having equal precedence. So the evaluation of operators in an arithmetic expression takes place from left to right for operators having equal precedence. So in some of the cases, you may have expressions where you have the operators which are having the equal precedence. See, in that case, the evaluation order will be from left to right for operators having the equal precedence. In the case of the operators having the mm, unequal precedence, you will follow the rules for precedence of operators. So these are the rules. We basically use BODMAS rule, where BODMAS rule is basically used for brackets of division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. So brackets will have the highest precedence and have to be evaluated first. Then comes off, after the letter B, we have off, that is brackets off. So then comes division. So D will be used for evaluation of operators. And then we have A, M we have multiplication. So multiplication will takes the precedence. And then we have A, that's why it will take addition. Addition will take the precedence, and finally subtraction. So these are the rules that needs to be followed. Brackets of division, multiplication, addition and subtraction rules should be followed. And during the evaluation of the expressions, operators. C language uses some rules in evaluating the expressions, and they are called as precedence rules, are sometimes also referred to as hierarchy of operations, with some operators with highest precedence and some with least. So what is basically the precedence is C language uses some rules in evaluating the expressions, and they are called as precedence rules. So these are called the precedence rules. Whatever rules that you follow in evaluating the expressions, they are called the precedence rules, are sometimes also referred to as hierarchy of operations, with some operators with highest precedence and some with least. The two distinct priority levels of arithmetic operations in C are: highest priority is used for multiplication, division, and percentile, that is modulo operation, and lowest priority is applicable for plus and minus. So that two distinct priority levels in arithmetic operations operators is highest priorities with for star and division and modulo operation, that is remainder operation, and lowest priority will be taken by plus and minus. So Bodmer's rules will be followed while evaluating the arithmetic expressions. Now will see what is associative operators. Associativity tells how an operator associates with its operands. For example, associative means whether an expression like x capital R, y capital R, z, where R is a operator such as plus or less than or equal to, should be evaluated left to right, that is as x or y inscribed in the parenthesis followed by R capital R, that is just like an operator, and followed by z, or right to left, that is x followed by R, and the inside the parenthesis we will have y r z. So where capital R is indicating the um, operator that needs to be taken in precedence for evaluating. So associativity means whether an expression like x or y or z should be evaluated left to right or right to left, depending on the um, depending on the precedence of the operators. If they are all equal, in which manner, or if they are unequal also, in which manner the operators will take the precedence. That is either from left to right the evaluation should takes place, or from right to left the evaluation should takes place, if at all, if all the operators involved in this expression are having the equal priority, that is equal precedence. The assignment operator equal to associates from right to left. So the assignment operator equal to takes the associativity from right to left. You should remember equal to operator takes associativity from right to left. Hence the expression on right is evaluated first, and its value is assigned to the variable on the left. So suppose if you are having an expression and you are assigning the value of that expression evaluation to some variable, then the expression on the right is evaluated first, and its value is assigned to the variable on the left. Associativity also refers to the order in which C evaluates operators in an expression having same precedence. So associativity is basically used for evaluating the operators in an expression in case of the all of the operators in the expressions are having the same precedence. In all other cases, we use the precedence of operators for evaluating the expressions. So we need to bother only when we are evaluating the expressions in which all operators are having the equal precedence, then only we need to worry about associative operators, otherwise it is not required. So, such type of operator can operate either left to right or vice versa. The operator parenthesis, open parenthesis, closed parenthesis, a function call has highest precedence, and the comma operator has lowest precedence. So if you are if you are having the function call, then the function call has the highest precedence in the expression, and the comma operator has lowest precedence. All unary, conditional, and assignment operators associate right to left. So all unary, conditional and assignment operators they associate right to left. All other remaining operators associate left to right. This is about the associative operators, where the associative operators is basically used for the order in which you see evaluates operators in an expression having the same precedence. In other case, we will use the precedence of operators for evaluation of the expressions. Rules for evaluation of expression. So there are certain rules for evaluation of expression. The first rule is first parenthesized subexpression from left to right are evaluated. So the very first you need to worry about the parenthesized subexpression, and these parenthesized subexpressions also will be evaluated from left to right. If parentheses are nested, the evaluation begins with the innermost subexpression. If at all, if your expressions are having nested parentheses, and inside these parentheses, if you are having expressions, the evaluation begins with the innermost subexpression. The precedence rule is applied in determining the order of application of operators in evaluating subexpressions. So the precedence rule is applied in determining the order of application of operators in evaluating the subexpressions. The associative rule is applied when two or more operators of the same precedence level appear in a subexpression. The associative rule is applied when two or more operators of the same precedence level appear in a subexpression. So inside an expression or subexpression, if we are having two or more operators and they are all having the equal precedence, then in that case you have to worry about the associative rule, and you have to use the associative rule, and you have to evaluate the expression and inside the nested parentheses. The arithmetic expressions are evaluated from left to right using the rules of precedence. The arithmetic expressions are evaluated from left to right using the rules of precedence. So always the arithmetic expressions will be evaluated from left to right, and they have to follow the rules of precedence. When parentheses are used, the expressions within parentheses assume highest priority. Whenever you are having parentheses, and the expression within parentheses assume highest priority. So the parenthesis, if at all, if your expressions are you having the parentheses, the expression within parentheses, they assume highest priority. Hierarchy of operators. So the next topic of discussion is hierarchy of operators. The hierarchy of operator, the parentheses, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, comma, square bracket, open square bracket, close square bracket operators, which means function. It is the first one is function call, and the second one is square brackets, open square, close square brackets is basically used for array element reference, and the accessory is from left to right. So the accessory will be from left to right, and you have the operator plus minus plus plus minus minus, and the exclamation symbol, and we have negation symbol star and ampersand, where the plus is unary plus, and we have minus, that is unary minus, and we have plus plus which is increment, and we have minus minus which is basically used to decrement operation, and we have logical negation which is exclamation symbol, and one's complement, we have negation symbol, that is one's complement, and we have pointer reference. The pointer reference can be obtained with the help of the star, and we have ampersand which is basically used to find the address of some variables and operands. Their associative they basically take from right to left. So all these unary plus minus increment decrement logical negation one's complement pointer reference address, all they take associative from right to left, and we have star slash and percentile, which means basically multiplication division and modulus. The associative will be taken from left to right. Now we will discuss typecasting. Once we have seen all the operators precedence and the maturity rules and rules for the precedence and evaluation of expressions, we will see typecasting. What is basically typecasting? Typecasting is a way to convert a variable from one data type to another data type. So you can see in the picture, the people from one group will be converted to the other group. Likewise, we can convert one set of data to the other set of data by type conversion. So typecasting is a way to convert a variable from one data type to another data type. In some situations, we need to convert one set of data into the other form. Suppose we need to convert an integer data form into a float type, or from float type to the integer form, or from float to double or double to float. We can either convert the value from highest range to lowest range, or from lowest range data type to the other highest data range type. These can be done using the typecasting. And when variables and constants of different types are combined in an expression, then they are converted to same data type. When variables and constants of different types are combined in an expression, then they are converted to same data type. So this is the situation when we require the type conversion. When variables and constants of different types are combined in an expression, then they are converted to same data type. So whenever you are having expressions, they will involve different data types, variables and constants, then they need to be converted to the uniform data type or data value. In that case, we need to have the typecasting. The process of converting one predefined type into another is called type conversion. So the type conversion is the process of converting one predefined type into another is called type conversion. So one predefined type, that is nothing but integer type, is converted, that is predefined type is integer, but it is converted into the float. If it is required to be converted into float, then you need to use type conversion technique. So you can see the example where you have data type 1 which is needs to be converted into data type 2. In that case, we need to go with the typecasting facility. So typecasting allows you to convert one data type into the other data type depending on your requirement. In the typecasting, we have different types like implicit typecasting and explicit typecasting. And implicit typecasting, what is implicit typecasting? When the type conversion is performed automatically by the compiler without programmer's intervention, such type of conversion is known as implicit type conversion or type promotion. So in the case of implicit typecasting, without a programmer's intervention, the conversion takes place. So when the type conversion is performed automatically by the compiler, so the compiler will perform the type conversion without the knowledge of the programmer. The programmer has not requested to convert the data of type of one value into the other data type, but the compiler has converted these. Such type of conversion is known as implicit type conversion or type promotion. For example, when you add values having different data types, both values are first converted to the same type. When a short int value and an int value are added together, the short int value is converted to the int type. So this is a implicit type conversion where we have not asked the short int to be converted into int, but the compiler, when it is adding these values of int and short int, the compiler automatically converted the short int into int, and the result is finally in the integer form only. Why? Because whenever we want to add values, they should be in the same data type. Then only the values can be uh, added or subtracted, or any arithmetic operation can be performed. Otherwise, the operation is invalid. So we need to do implicit. We our compiler will do the implicit type conversion, and then it will perform the required arithmetic operation. C does implicit type conversion when the need arises. So whenever the need for the data conversion is required, C does implicit data type conversion. When a floating point value is assigned to an integer variable, the decimal point is truncated. So whenever you are converting one floating point value into an integer, so floating point value will have the fractional values also. So the fractional values will be truncated. The decimal portion is truncated. That is nothing but only integer part will be there, but decimal part will be truncated. So the value will be reduced with its actual value. And a value suppose when a value 156.43 is assigned to an integer variable, 156 is stored and decimal portion is discarded. This is the thing that will be performed when you are converting the floating point value into an integer value. Its fractional portion, that is decimal portion, will be truncated. If an integer 200 is assigned to a floating variable, the value is converted to 200 dot 6 zeros and stored. So for it, although it is an integer, the decimal portion will be added and then it will be converted into a floating point value. There is an example integer type variable a. So we have integer type variable a equal to 156.43, 156 equal to 156.43 float type variable. So in this case we are performing the operation on the 156.43 and we are converting that into in integer type variable. So this will be converted into 156 and 0.43 will be discarded, and we have float type variable where we have example float b equal to 200. Then the value, that is integer, is basically assigned to floating value. So 200 will be converted into implicitly into any floating value. Although 200 is an integer value, it will be implicitly converted into floating value. So the inside the variable b, the value that is stored is 200.00000. So six zeros, 200 dot 6 zeros will be stored implicitly in the inside this b variable, that is floating value. Explicit typecasting. The conversion performed by the programmer by posing the data type of the expression of specific type is known as explicit type conversion. So in this case, the compiler will not do, but the user has explicitly requested, the user or programmer has explicitly requested for the conversion of specific type, that is known as explicit type conversion. Explicitly the programmer has requested for the type conversion of some data. That's why it is called explicit type conversion or explicit typecasting. Typecasting in C is done in the following form. Data inside parentheses, we will write the specific data type that is being required, and we will write after that the expression. So the expression value will be evaluated and it will be converted into the data type that is being requested explicitly, where data type is any valid C data type. It can be integer, float, double, or any other char also can be used, or any other user defined data type, or enumeration data type also can be used. And expression may be constant, variable, or expression. So the expression, in the place of expression, you can either write a constant value, or also you can write some variable, or also you can write some expression. So that expression's value, once it is evaluated, will be explicitly type converted into the data type that is being used in the parenthesis. For example, x equal to int of a plus b into d. So here the expression will be evaluated. First b into d will be evaluated, so its result will be now added to a, and then it will be b into d, whose result is calculated, and a will be converted into an integer. Then the converted integer value of a plus b into d will be added and it is assigned to x. This is the explicit type conversion. Here we are explicitly converting variable a into integer, then it is added to the result of multiplication of b and d, and finally it is again assigned to x. So x will have the integer value. We have a following example where in the example we have program, where in the example program we have int sum equal to 17, count equal to 5, double mean. So we have three variables. The first one is sum, is a 17, it is a integer value, and we have count which is also integer variable, and we have double mean, we have double variable, and that is mean, and we have expression a mean equal to explicitly conversion of double explicitly converted sum into double by count. So we have mean equal to sum by count, but sum is explicitly converted into double. So since double is a sum is an integer value, it is converted into double. It will have the double value which is divided by count is 5. So in the expression value of mean, the variable mean will have now 17 by 5, that is 3.40. If you don't convert it explicitly, then it will have only 3, which is the result of division operation of sum and count. Now if you use a printf statement, printf value of mean percentage f slash inside the uh, double quotes, if you write value of mean colon percentage f slash n inside quotes comma mean, then the value of mean that is printed is basically 3.4 double zero and double zero zero. So value that is basically integer being converted into double and finally printed. It should be noted here that cast operator has precedence over division. So the value of sum is first converted to type double and finally it gets divided by count, yielding a double value. Otherwise it would have yielded only 3. If you don't if your type conversion operation doesn't take precedence, then you will get only integer value, that is 3. But since the type conversion takes precedence over double division, it has first converted the sum into double and then it was divided with count. So mean will contain 3.4 double zero double zero zero. You can see the sample program executed in the compiler where you have written the same code, and inside int you have int main you have written int sum equal to 17, count equal to 5, double mean equal to double, type converted type converted to double divided by count, and the result is 3.400. Printf value of mean colon percentage f comma mean. So mean value that is type converted into double is 3.400 gets printed. Rules for implicit type conversion. Now we'll see the rules for implicit typecasting. The following rules have to be followed while converting the expression from one type to another to avoid the loss of information. All integer types to be converted to float, all float types to be converted to double, all character types to be converted to integer. So all integer types to be converted to float. So lower data types will be converted to the higher data type. So in the case of if you are having integer and float, so integer will be type converted to float, and if you are having float and double, since the double is the highest data type, the lowest data type float will be type converted to double, and all character types to be converted to integer. Since the character is the lowest data type, when you compare with integer, character types to be converted to integer. These are the rules that will be followed in the case of evaluation of expressions involving the different data types. Now we will see how to create our own header file. We have to follow certain steps. The first step is step 1, create new file and write following syntax in it. Hash if endify space underscore name underscore h, name of your header file. So name of the header file should be written. Hash if endif space will be given. After that, the name of the header file that is to be defined should be written here. Hash if define space underscore symbols name underscore h. In factorial int name, in factorial of int name, define your function directly. So the in your header file you are going to define certain functions. In our header file we are defining the function that is factorial function, and in the factorial function code is int I comma f equal to 1, for I equal to n, I greater than or equal to 1 comma I minus minus f star equal to I, return f. If you want to print something in your in function, you would require printf. So you can include stdio.h in function definition also. If and then after that we have to write hash if and if space name underscore h, name of the header file, that is in the name of the header file we have to write hash if define hash define space name underscore h, hash include stdio.h. After that, the function that you have to include in your header file should be written. After this step, we have to save this file as name.h in include folder of tc. So in tc where of our compiler, we will have a tc folder. In that tc folder, we have to save the file that was created in the previous slide as name.h. You can use any name defined above. Now create new file, say ankit.c or ankit.cpp to use header file right. So once we have saved that particular header file with the name.h, and if we want to use that name.h header file in our particular program that we are going to write, then we have to include that particular header file using hash include name.h. The header file that we have created name.h should be written in our editor program. After that, hash include stdio.h, the usual stdio.h header file which is required for including the in standard input and output files functions. Hash include conio.h, this is another header file where if you want to include the functions related to console input output, then we have to include this header file. And after that, void main int c clear screen c equal to factorial of 5. So in our program now we are using the function that was created in the name.h header file. Although the factorial function is not there in stdio.h or conio.h, it was included from the name.h header file and being used in the our function, our main program. And then printf factorial is percentage d comma c. So once the factorial function is being used from the name.h header file, and the result of that factorial function will be sent back to c, and c will have the value that is factorial of 5. Factorial of 5 is used, that is 120. And the printf factorial is percentage d comma c, change code accordingly in cpp. And if you are going to use the same header file, and that is name.h in cpp program, then we have to change the code accordingly in cpp by replacing the printf with c out etc. And we the last statement is get ch, which is used for getting the output of your program onto the monitor. So once if you search these results in the header files folder, you can notice the header file that was created. You can also see certain header files that are being created and being inserted in the tc folder. So in our topic for today, we have discussed the things like operators. In operator section, we have seen what is a operator and what are the unary operators, binary operators, ternary operators. Also, we have seen, and we have seen the 8 different types of operators which are used in C programming, C language. We have seen the arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, and the conditional operators, and we have seen special operators, bitwise operators, and we have also seen certain examples for these operators. And also we have seen the topic related to the precedence of operators, when the precedence of operators should be used, and when what are the rules for the precedence of operators, and what are the different precedences for the arithmetic operators examples we have seen. And the operators like into multiplication, division, and percentile, they take the precedence over minus and addition operators of arithmetic. And also we have seen the associative of operators, where associative operators is basically used in the case of operators having the equal precedence in the expressions. So we have seen the rules for the these associative and precedences. And also we have seen the type conversions. We have seen the need for the type conversion. Need for type conversion arises either the type conversion can be done implicitly by the compiler, or the type conversion can be done by the programmer, that is done explicitly. And also we have seen how to create a header file. and how to include the header files functions in the our own programs. This completes our session for today. Thank you.